got a little project for you today. Yep, it's a simple little project with several techniques and moves to it. Some you can really improve on, some you can learn from. But all you got to do, you know the deal, you got to watch. Recently, one of the regular viewers for our series on YouTube, which we're over 350 videos on right now, asked me could I make a toothpick holder and design one and show it to you. So I put the call out, and you guys came back with ideas and suggestions and drawings and everything else. So we came up with a little toothpick holder. That's right. Set it on the dinner table right there, and remember to keep it clean, finish it all the places people put the stuff in their mouth. But it'll give you your toothpicks. And, well, I don't have the bottom glued in right now. When you lift it up, the toothpicks come to view, and you can take one out and stuff. And guess what? In a shop as dirty as mine, those toothpicks hit the floor, they hit the trash can. But I'm going to glue that bottom in a minute when I finish it off. But I want to show you how we do this. It's rather simple. I think you'll enjoy it. And no matter what, you use some scraps of wood from the shop. So if it works out, watch. Oh, you already did the watch thing. Pay attention. You already did that too. Make shavings. Kind of lost where you're at here. If this worked out, I've just shown you the ended project, and I want to show you how we got started on this. I started with a block of maple. I got this at one of the woodcraft at a SWAT show, and it says on here I got it 6 years ago, and it's been here under a bench, so it's been wet about a dozen times since this place floods. But it's 3 by 5 by 5. It's nice. It's seasoned. It says it's curly, which might give it a nice appearance. Okay, now I've got the block of wood, and I know what I want to do with it. I had to go find toothpicks. Now, when I say I had to go find toothpicks, they're not just anywhere. You got to find the party section at the grocery store. They're not in the regular sections anymore. But I found the toothpicks, and that's what I'm using for the basis of my design, is the toothpicks. And guess what? They come in a cute little bottle, which is a good basis of design because it gives me a better idea of what they need to go where. So then I went to graph paper. Zoom in. Zip. Right there. I want the graph paper. And I drew out what I thought would be a nice looking toothpick holder, pardon me. But I put a little bevel on it and all that. I laid it out wrong. So we threw that one away, and we got the right one out. Now this is a block sitting in a lake. This is the face that'll be towards the tailstock. This is in my headstock. I got a little dado I'm going to put on here. Then I can core it, shape the stop edge, shape the side if I want. And I drew a couple little designs of what I could have, but I like a little bell shape to it. So then I put a little notch in it, sit on the table. We're going to go over all that. But if you draw it on a piece of paper, before you get started, I use graph paper because I can do it in the quarters, and I can get all the real sizes, and I can relate to this a whole lot better than this. I'm just remembering a picture I saw on YouTube or a video or something like that. So now we have our block. Too big. So I'm going to pick the best looking grain area of it I want it. I'll take it to the bandsaw and cut a chunk of it off. I want to mark it for centers, and then we'll go to the lathe. Went to the bandsaw, and oh yeah, by the way, you need a good sharp blade. I use a 3/8 inch blade 90% of the time on my bandsaw because it's the most convenient for what I do. But I use these 6 TPI. I get a Southern Saw. They make them, weld them for my machine, so they fit, and they're in pretty good shape. But I've got 2 blocks now. I got the 3 by 3 by 5. That's going to be the main core. It's going to give me a little bit of a waste block for a jam chuck. Got to pay attention to that. And then I've got this other block. Now this is going to become part of my lid and part of the insert. I need a hardwood dowel and a little piece for a finial, and I'm toast. Done. Ready. Is it lathe time yet? I'm starting with my spring-loaded center over here, and I'm going to put the dot on it. It's there. I'm going to bring the tailstock up. I love when I got this thing lubed out right, and it works. Then I'm going to do a little test spin. Yep, that looks pretty good. Make sure my tailstock's locked in, and then I'll bring up pressure on it. Now, I'm putting between points. This one's got some teeth on it that's going to grab and keep it from spinning. That's what I'm looking for. I could do that with my star center, or I could do it with this other center. That worked out. Then I want to set my tool rest at a good basic angle. I'm a little bit high, which is okay, because right now I'm just taking my roughing gouge and knocking it. This is not as good as rough cut, so I'm using my roughing gouge. I get this from D-Way Tools, and I'm going to use it to plane off these corners and knock them down. I'm between centers, but if I go in too hard, too fast, too deep, I'm going to knock the block out of the lathe. And I don't want to do that, okay? Shields up. If I had 8-sided it, this would be about where I'd be starting at. See, I'm just starting to take the outside corners off. Pretty comfortable where it's at. I'm going to crank the speed up to about probably 700, 800 RPMs. It's not a critical number. I'm just going to turn it where it's comfortable. Shields up. Okay, safety tip time. This is where you're going to think about moving that tool rest. Remember the first step in moving your tool rest. You stop the lathe first, put the side closest to it, then you bring it in. If not, you could push the tool rest into moving wood, and when it moves, it's going to move this way. Got it? Got it. Shields up. Another step on planning this out. This is my piece. That's the same piece I'm going to end up with right here. Now, I've got a little dovetail because I want to hold it in my one-way stronghold chuck with profile jaws. And I want to get as much contact as I can so I don't get any shimmy out of this piece when I start turning it. So I'm going to put a tenon on the end of this that'll grab into my chuck and be the right size. I know I harp on this a little bit, but this is my tenon layout. See that inside that notch? That's the size of the tenon that I can grab right there to fit perfect. So that's what I want to put on this, is a tenon to match this. And then it'll fit in there. This is the inside, this is the outside. I'm going to put it on, turn my little foot, my little dovetail, and then check it with my jig. Simple, but necessary. When I start cutting these little dovetails or holders, I eyeball it with my jig, and I'm pretty sure. But if you need to check it, I'm going to put the caliper up, check the width of my tenon, go on here and check the width of what I have left. And you see, I need to take a good quarter or so off this, and I can use my caliper to judge that. And I'm cutting it with my skew laid on the side because this angle here, this angle matches the angle for the inside of my jaws. You got that? Why did I cut that with my skew? Because of this angle. Because I want that dovetail to be a slight dive in it, so when the jaws clamp on it, they'll pull the wood into the jaws instead of spinning them out. I've got that done just the right way. Now I'm ready to flip it around. Flipping around is rather easy to do. I'll take the pressure off my tailstock. Wow, I locked that in, didn't I? All right. Take the pressure off my tailstock, move it out the way a little bit. There's my piece. There's that angle I told you. Can you see the angle? It slopes down to the inner, so it'll grab that and pull it into the jaws. And I only want to pull it into the jaws a 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch, no more. I don't want that notch on the bottom. You can see where I'm off the bottom of the chuck. I want to be off the bottom of the chuck down there. That's not my bearing surface. Knockout rod. That center out. It sleeps up here. We'll put it in one way. Now keep a little wax on that. A little Renaissance wax on those threads. Keeps from getting dirty and bound up and trash and all on them, but not a lot, just a little bit. Just to make everything a little shop friendly. High humidity down here. Now this is going to go into this chuck. That's why I like the key chucks. If this was one where I had 2 bars to fight, I know how to do it. I'd bring my tailstock up, get into the original center, back off a little bit, make sure I've got that center. Okay, that's where I'm at. And then I'd snug it a little, roll it around, snug it again. My daddy always told me he got multiple holes on these chucks for you to get this better grab. I don't want any vibration. So it's in there. Now when I fire it up, that's running through. I'm going to go to my worksheet now to get the size. That was the maximum size I could get out of the piece. If you can see that line, there we go. All right, and I can use my caliper to gauge it. Then I go back over to my workpiece and see where I'm at. Well, I'm still a little bit larger than I'd like to be. So I can clean this up. I'm going to leave it between centers to start cutting on it. I stopped right away because that was my roughing gouge. And although you can't feel it because I don't have that field vision on this thing, but that's a very slick cut and I like that. It's not slick, but it's not so torn up that I can't work with it. So I'll get my skew out. These are the planing cuts I was telling you about on the skew. You see on it, that is baby butt smooth, and I'm the king of smooth checking baby butts. That is baby butt smooth. So if that was my finished outside, I could go back and sand right now from this cut because I don't have any tears to live with in there. It's the beauty of this walnut, this maple. Boy, that's beautiful, isn't it? Got to keep stopping today. Everybody wants to call and talk to me about how they're going to save me money on my car insurance and renew my investment, my warranty, and save my tuition. I love it. Do you know why we can't get that off of our phones? And we get people from doing that harassment, can't get a law from it? Because the lawmakers use that to call you to get them elected. So they don't want to slit their own throat. All right, enough on that. My jar that I designed, my box, has got a little flat top on it. See the flat top on it? Then I'm going to a port, and this is where I can do my design. And I'm coming back in here. Maybe let me see. We can count this, can't we? All right, that would be 1, 2, 3, and 3/4 inches back into the piece. So at 3 3/4 back, I'm knowing that I'm going to slice this off at 3 3/4. So that's 4. I'm going to come in here and put a little mark right there. I love that pen. See that pen? That's nice. That's making shavings. All right. Now, that's going to be where I'm going to part off at. And use those 10mm leads or a quarter or whatever. Man, heavy duty stuff. All right, that's where I'm going to be parting off at. But I'm going to go all the way to that depth when I core this thing out and clean it out. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But first, let's square up this top and establish our centers. Okay, now it's time to tap dance a little bit. I've got my center. I went and got my number 3 chuck to fit into my tail in my one way, because this is number 3 over here, and that's the number 2 over there. Machine shop thing. All right, and I'll bring my speed down as low as I can and cut with it. So I'm bringing the speed down to maybe 200, 250. Why? Well, because see that bit right there? That's a 1 1/4 inch bit, or 1 1/8 inch bit. It cuts nice, but it generates a lot of heat. And if I go down here and generate a ton of heat, I could swell this thing up, and then I'll end up with a crappy piece of wood in the beginning, in the end. This is the heat thing. I'm going to change the blade to a larger blade now, or forcing the cutter now. If you wonder how much heat comes off of this to hurt the inside of your piece and swell it up, go ahead and put your finger on there right now. You'll stop wondering in about that long of, yeah, about that quick. I have to explain a little something here to you. I drilled a hole, 1 1/4 hole, because I didn't want so much heat build up on the cutter at a really sharp forceps bit. Now this is 1 1/2 inch, and this is where I'm going to come back into it with, and I just touched up the blades with a diamond card. But now I have it at, I'm going to get 3 inches out of this bit, and I'll show you how we're going to get around that, but we don't get around it very much. Let me show you. Nice and smooth, not a lot of heat. See that? That's what I'm looking for. What I have here, I've drilled my 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inch hole, and it's more than 3 inches deep. Then I took a forcing a bit, a long forcing a bit, like a 5/8 or 3/4, and I went through the base piece for a reference when I get done. So I have my center going all the way through the piece. I'll need when I turn it around. Now, I didn't work too much on smoothing this out because I was going to touch it with the chuck. And I'm still not going to work on it yet because I'm going to bring this up and stabilize it a little bit so when I cut it, I don't get any movement. And what is this? This is my revolving center, and I'll put the cone in it, on it. That's what I just put the bar in, lock the cone on it a little bit, and that's going to help me stabilize this thing so I can make those cuts. I don't want any chatter now. I want this to be fluid and smooth, and I'm going to do this outside, clean this up, put the bowl on it. I know what I'm working towards to my bottom, and then I can get this done, go back and sand all these parts, and flip it around. We do a lot of flipping around. Because I'm between centers, I bring speed up a little bit. I often don't touch wood like this to see how it's doing. Splinters get driven in, so you can hear it. All right. Now I'm flipped around. I'm going to round that top corner a little bit where I want to be, not a lot, because I want the lid to sit down on it flat. Then we're going to shape this outside. Got it? Got it. I'm no good with this. I got to use something else. I heard you. Let's go back to the roughing gouge. Roughing gouge. Roughing gouge for a baby smooth slice, but I got a few tears in it. Why? A couple of things. Harmonics. Get a little vibration. Let's bring up the tailstock a little bit more. Make sure I'm not moving, and then we'll bring the speed up a little bit more, and we'll make a couple of other cuts. Much better cut, and very happy with it. Very little tearing. In fact, almost none. Sandable. I put the basic shape I want. I'm coming off the top. I got a little dish out. I got a little bump right there, I feel. It probably just trash on my tool rest that I carried onto the piece. That will happen. The bump here will be a bump there. So let's go back up. I'm going to use the scraper. I always run my scraper, not every day, but all the time, kicked up on a slight angle where I don't get any tears or rips. Now, I don't see a single blemish in this that I can't live with that's in the wood. And it's riveting. There's some ribboning. There's some grain in here. There's some relief. Really nice stuff. And this is going to be the finished piece on the outside when I get done. Now I'm going to clean up this top end, show you a little bit about the center, and I got to mark it for the cut. I marked it for my 3 3/4 cut, and that's what we kind of agreed on the sheet. Put a pencil mark that'll live with it. I got my stick rule out, and this morning I'm still looking for that ring I lost last week when I dropped it on the floor. It wasn't on the floor. This old X46 stick rule sitting on my tool rest back there. That ring hit right on it and slid right down and became invisible. And I just got it. Wasn't dirty, didn't hit the floor. And I found the chuck key was down there. That I found the magnet, but the stainless steel I couldn't find the magnet. That's somebody the other day told me about. They were going to buy some bottle stoppers, and they were going to use this new firm in the back of the AAW book because they're a supplier to Ruth Niles. That ain't the case. Ruth Niles doesn't buy from somebody that does that. And her stuff is quality stainless, won't mix with your wines and all that. So if you're looking for stainless steel bottle stoppers, go to Ruth Niles. If somebody say I can save you a nickel, put your nickel in your pocket. You don't need it. So I'm going to shape this up, clean it up, and get rocking and rolling. This is coming along okay. If I wanted to do embellishments in just a few moments, I'd put a little embellishment on it. Ha! Now I got to. Probably see that I've got a larger top. Then I'm coming out and I got a small bottom. I've already set my base, sort of. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But right here, I think I could add a little something. So what would I add? I get out from D-Way Tools, my beading gouge, my beading tool, and I could put a bead right there. Now, here I'm still have 3/8 of an inch or so of wood. See that? I can't go too deep because it'll be something that'll break off. But I could put some beads in it, or I could just use this to reference some lines. Show you that. I'm just going to reference some lines right here. Simple but distinct beading. It'll hide in my ceiling, and it's inconsequential, but it adds a little bit of more difference to the piece. Gives the top a little lift. As I play around my detail, I'm coming up on the sides. My sides does not look like this. I've got a little crown and a little bow, and it comes down to the bottom. Whoop, where I got it on my drawing. Little crown, little bow, and come back down to my bottom. I can see it, why can't you? All right, so that's what I'm living with. Right here, I just want this top section right here to be dead flat and clean. So when I put the lid on it and the lid sits, it sits on a smooth, flat surface. I've got a good flat surface right here, but it's not very clean. See how it's got a few tears in it? Those are tears. I don't want those tears. So I'm going to slice this off and clean this up. Then we're going to clean up this inside. Shields up. Now that was good slicing cuts. I don't want to tear this, and trust me, there's not a fill in the world, or a sealer in the world, or a conditioner, or a finish that'll fill pits when you tear up the edge. So they got to be slice cuts. Be careful on negative scraping or doing a shear scraping on it, because that might pull some fibers out if they cut it sharp, really, really sharp. Now I've got this. My corners are what they want to be. I'm going to get my tool rest out the way. I got my 1.5 inch hole, 3 inches deep, which is a good start. And I put my beads on it on the outside. Right now, just because it's fun, I'm going to sand this. I'm at 320 foam pad from Vince Welch at Vince's Wood and Wonders. I went through my 220, well, 120, 150, 180, 220. I don't want to leave any marks on this. So I'm cleaning this up really nicely. Now, if you can see the dust coming off, and I have my dust avoidance system, which is a little 6-inch fan directly above me that blows down. It's a Walmart special for $10. And now I have this thing really in good shape at 320. I'm going to take it to 4, maybe 6, because I'm going to put the finish on this and get it done. I want to show you something though. All that sanding I've done is showing that I've got some tears up here. I need to go back and re-sand that and get rid of some of those tears. There's not a finish in the world that's going to hide that. So we're going to sand it out. Re-sand it. I went back down to my 120 again, cleaned this up, and I went back and I sanded it again and again, and that's a ridge. That's not a tear. It's a grain. See the grain reflect? And you get some chatoyance out of this now too. But now I'm at 320 all the way through. It's going to go to 400, and then I'm going to seal it. Why? That might be my only chance to get to this end of the piece under power comfortably. We can get there, but comfortably. I'm at 400, watch. You see that little cloud coming up over the top? Now my fan's blowing down on it, so it's not as bad as it would be. But that indicates that I'm actually sanding. That the sandpaper is still cutting the wood and removing it. Look, I'm not loading up the paper. It's still very clean, in good shape. And I'm just using my hand to pat it with. I can put it on the spinner, or I can put it on a foam back or whatever. But just cleaning it up a little bit. Clean up all the surfaces. But if the sandpaper isn't doing that, and isn't cutting, you're polishing this material instead of sanding it. Not a good move. I'm going to go in here and put some sealer on it. Now, if you want to put coloring on this and dye this and give it some accent and have the top a different type of wood or a different color of wood or colored bands or anything else, you can do it. But today, Valentine's Day 2019, I've been married 29 years to the most wonderful woman in the world who tells me I can no longer color wood without asking specific permission and submitting samples. So we're not going to color this. You see, being married has got some blessings. I hadn't found one, but they got some blessings. This is my 50-50 depth sealer. It's half of depth lacquer sanding sealer and half of lacquer thinner. Makes it work on the machine very nicely. And I need to do that inside because I won't go there later. And I use the sander to tell me what my finish looks like. Because until I put the sander on, the sealer on, I won't know. Stop for a second. No bumps, no tears, no burns, no ridges, no rinds, no lines, no scarring. If any of that shows up right now, it's going to be in your finished product. So if I have a little blemish right there and I need to sand that out, I'm going to sand that out right now. Recoat it with the sealer. Often get questions about, Cap, why would you go through that much trouble? This is not trouble. This is my art. This is what I like to do. And the reason I go through this is because I want it to be perfect. I don't want to have to offer an explanation or, gee, that happened because you won't have to ask those questions. It will be perfect to my standards. Maybe not yours. My standards to be perfect, to be ready to go. Now this is ready to receive the first coat of finish. What I'm going to do is let this seal cure for a few minutes. I'm going to go eat a banana. Then come back and put a couple of coats of CA on top of this to buff it in. And that's going to give me a wearable, workable, finished condition for some of it. Looks pretty good. I've got it cleaned up. I've got 4 or 5 coats of CA. Why do the CA? Because it's quick. And I get a pretty good finish off of it. Now, I'm not where I want to be finished-wise, but to a good point. I'm going to shield up again. Take this off the glue block so we can turn it around. Turn the speed up a little. Take my little tool and just clean up that little pothole a little bit. Now I can see I have about 3/4 of an inch. Can you see that? I have about a 3/4 inch edge in it. I want to get out. I'm going to use my little scraper to clean it out. But this sleeve is 1.5 inches and it's 3 inches deep, and it's the right depth for the slide to work in. Anything below that's unnecessary. But got a good finish on it. But now I got to work on this end. I guess I can take it and put it in his claws. No, you can't. We'll put it on a jam chuck. The same, I'm going to put it on a jam chuck. I want to slip it on something that'll hold it with this end towards it. I don't want it to be rough and torn up because this is a finished product. This is finished. And I want to clean this up, hold the bottom, and put a little cup in it so it sits on the table. I'm going to use a little multi-tool to do that to create the jam chuck. Sliced my jam chuck. I was very, very careful to get a great fit on this being the bottom. Then I'll put that super absorbent grocery store bought packing paper. I was told the other day I'm not supposed to call it toilet paper. And then when I put this on, bring my revolving center up, and I put the comb back on my center, okay, and bring it up. Put a little pressure on it. You hear that? Squished it right down on there. It's good and tight. I'm going to show you that little block is going to be used for in a few minutes. Now I'm here. Look at this end. Running just about as true as it can be. And that's where we're going to clean this bottom up, fix that hole, and poof, that'll be done. I did my slicing cuts with my finial gouge, and I ran them down and got me a really smooth, great slice here. No tears, no rip outs or anything else. Now I'm way down below the inch and a half I need, but this is only a 5/8 inch hole. So I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to put my little bead for the mark, make sure I got the corner rounded and everything else. This is going to go into finish mode. I'm going to finish the rest of this out because I want a jam chuck. I'm just pushed on here with friction. I'm going to clean this up and use my little multi-tool. I like this tool. Little bites. You can eat an elephant with a micro spoon. Little bitty bites. Shields up. We've done a cutting, and I have that inside. See, we got I'm a little bit oversized. I'm maybe a 1/16 oversized, which is good. I'm going to clean all this up, sand it out. I know it's on the bottom. What difference does it make? Makes a big difference to me. Underneath proof that how it was done. It's actually beautiful. Starting out with 150 grit. I don't have to do this. I will touch it up, but I don't have to do it. I'm just going to knock that little bead off the corner. Got it? I'm going to take it all the way up. We put a sealer on it all the way around, so right now I know every single speck of the outside of the piece is sealed and protected. And I sometimes get guys say, why would you bother with that? Well, it's not a bother, but I do know that this is a finished piece. And no matter who touches it where, I don't have to explain a nick, a groove, a crack, or anything else. And there's still plenty of room in here to write my name on it when I put it on the table. It's like watching the Twilight Zone with it. I put all the coatings on it, and you can see I have no tears, no blemishes. That's important. Quality finish. Now, this is going to sit. I've got about 3 coats of CA on it. I'll let it sit a few minutes and buff it with that orange Scotch Brite. And then put another 1 or 2 coats on it, because this is my finished outside. I don't have an opportunity or need to ever touch this again. I get that paper out my way, and I can put the finish on this complete outside, and then I pop it off the jam chuck. Then I'm going to show you where the jam chuck is valuable at. Oh yeah, we're not done yet. We pulled off our block. This is the base of the piece. This is just about completely finished. I got to buff it out a little bit. But you see, they got the CA and a sealer on it, sealed on the inside, sealed on the bottom, low relief on it, got a shoulder on, everything's ready. Now, this needs a plunger to go inside of to do the lift that I showed you that earlier. So I'm going to go back to the glue block or the jam chuck we had a little while ago, and show you where recycling and reusing some of these materials is going to come in handy. We're going to go ahead and drill down through the middle of this with a 1/4 inch Forstner bit, very slowly. Don't want to push out with cutting on the end grain, We can easily push it out and get it misshapen. But there we go, went right through it. I'm going to stabilize this and pull it back out. Now I have a 1/4 inch hole through that block. That's going to be part of the bottom of the piece and part of it's going to be a holding block to turn the top of the piece. You're not really following, are you? I'm not. In order to shape, let me raise this. In order to shape the next piece, which is going to be the lid, I want to be able to hold it. And the best way to hold it is going to be between centers or on a jam chuck. Well, I'm going to go between centers. It's safer. I'm going to dress this up and make this my center. Shields up. Now we're all on page 1. This is my jam chuck, and I'll show you how it's going to work out later on with something else. But I want to use it to spin this top. This is the top I'm going to spin. So I drill the hole through it, a quarter inch hole all the way through it, and that's going to fit a hardwood dowel through that hole, right on through it. I don't have any clean dowels, so we use this one. I'm going to put this in, drive it in there, put some double stick tape right here. And for double stick tape, I really like this product called Sure Tape. SHURTAPE, Hold Strong. I used to be able to get it at Lowe's. It's a double-sided or double stick tape that is very much like a duct tape product. Oh, you gotta find the seam here. There it is. It's thick, it's got a good backing on it. Really, really holds. But to make sure, we're gonna put it under pressure. So we're all in agreement. I can't be trusted. I've got some sneaky ways about me. This is on a dowel, and it's on double stick tape back here. Now I'm going to make this lid to fit into the top of my piece, and I have the size over here that I need to cut to. That's going to give me the shoulder, and then round it, and then leave a little bit of the stub, and that's where I'm going to put my finial, and it's all be held with double stick tape. I'm going to bring up my revolving center, but I took the pin out. See that? That's why I'm not going to be trusted. I took the pin out, and I'm pushing on the center with the piece without the pin. So I'm not bearing on a dowel. The dowel is for this way. All right? But going in and out, I'm relying on the revolving center and one-way strong hold chuck. And I use these brand names because I want you to understand what they are. When you say, you just said a chuck. No, I didn't say that. I said a stronghold, a one-way stronghold chuck. And I just threw more stuff on the floor. You see how that works? Get my tool set all set up before I turn on the lathe. Why did I do that? So I can press on this dowel and I can shape this. Now this is going to be sitting on top of this. Just like that. Well, that's too big. I want to be a little bit smaller, maybe a 1/16 smaller or so. And then I got to, when I turn it around and put a receiver in it, it'll fit better. But I don't want it to be larger. It has to be a little smaller. I want to see that accent edge. Let's go back to cutting. We bring up the one-way revolving center right there. Put the pressure back on it because we got some of the sizing done. And I could have also sized that with good old-fashioned calipers by just looking at it and saying, okay, I want that ring to be, that cover to be about that big. I'm holding it right, there you go, right there. So that's the size I'm looking for over here. And I'm close, see? So I got to take about 1/8 of an inch off each side. And I love this. When I take it off this side, it comes off that side. I love it. Forgot to press the start button, pardon me. I rounded this off, cut it back, put a little receiver on the bottom. I'll show you more detail on it. But now I'm ready to take it off the jam chuck. Well, not really. I think I want to use the jam chuck again to do the finial. But now I want to get this out the way. I take the pressure off the revolving center, See how easy it is? Then I'm going to grab that little block. Look, and you can't see it because my hand's in the way. But I'm going to grab that little block and unscrew it right off of there. Still suffering from a sore thumb, so I'm going to grab a pair of pliers. Grab that. Just take it right off. Now, this jam chuck will be used for another part. We go through these steps because this will save you on projects where you have multiple moves like this. Just now, I failed to show you as with it still in the jam chuck, I went back and sliced that face to get raw wood back here again, because when I put the finial on it, it's a glue point. I don't want to glue wood to finished wood. Got it? Okay. I remember to push the button this time. I'm easing this off that double stick tape. Really, really grabs. I mean, I had a great load there, and I'm just finally getting it about an inch, eighth of an inch away. Now I can start peeling it away, working it out. I want to save the hardwood dowel, so that's what I just did. Take it off. I got very little residue. Whoop! I got a very little residue here to clean up, but this makes the lid for the piece. That's what I'm talking about. See, I have nice reveal, same lines, same edge, same detail, same grain. Things finished out, and all. Now a couple of there's 3 more parts to go on here. Let's get them done. One of them, I want to use this piece to turn the finial right now. I mean, the little finial piece of the button. I don't want anything too elaborate. Let's turn something simple. This is another piece of the maple I'm going to make the button out of. I have to true the back of it because it wasn't trued up. I'm using the hand as jam chuck, just like this. I'll bring the speed up. I have the revolving center pushing against the dowel. Shields up. And you get too elaborate with detail because there's not a lot of detail for this. This is going to be the button on top of the cap, and all the shapes speak for themselves. Now I can sand all this out and get it and put my sealer and CA right on this piece, right where it sits, and then pull it off the jam chuck, which is also another part of the project. I added my sealer, 2 coats of sealer, buffed it with a scratch right between them, and now I've added 3 coats of CA on it. So this is pretty much ready for me to pull it off, put it on a cap, and I can see how it looks, and if I want, I can glue it all in place. When I add a button to it, haven't changed the profile that much. Okay, I want to get artistic and do some things. I can put some burned lines or lines on here, some darken these lines, color it, make different colors, use different woods, all kinds of things you can get to. We stayed basic. We're not done yet. One more trick. Remember our glue block that we used to hold the piece? Just like this, so we could do the bottom and all this cupping. Well, that glue block is now going to be the plunger part that goes down into the vessel that'll lift out this last piece we're going to make. It is already drilled for the quarter-inch dowel. I'm sorry. Machine this thing. So I'm going to pull the dowel out of it, and we're going to go ahead and hollow it out. You might notice I put a pencil mark back here, and this pencil mark shields up. It's where I'm going to cut it off at. Shields up. See what I'm cutting here? I'm cutting out with this little fine tool. I can slide that wall, make that little fine cut, and I'm looking in a monitor to see this cut. They make that little fine cut. And clean that side up. Clean up a little bit of the bottom. But it didn't do a whole lot of damage with that little tool. few moments ago I said we're going to have this one piece on the bottom that's not finished. Well, that kind of looks all right. This is all finished and detailed out. But all right, so I want to put it back over here and spin it using my lives, the same dowel, same hardwood dowel, same piece, same deal. And then I go back with my fingernail gouge and clean this up a little bit and get a better cut, because that was sliced using a parting tool, which did a tear. So I'm going to set it back up again, take the fingernail gouge and take a little bit off the face of it. Make it pretty. Shields up. Assembly's pretty good. This is done. That's the sleeve we did. We did it on a jam truck. Finished all the projects of it. We turned this lid. We turned the little finale. See a little button on the top? That's just so you can grab it. Then we turned the cup out of the glue block that we used. We put a piece of 1/4 inch hardwood dowel on it. And we slip it down in there. Pardon me. And voila. It is there. We're going to cut that dowel off. Get it out the way. Put a little clear coat on the bottom of it. And that is our toothpick dispenser. Now, what did we do here? We went out and shopped and made shavings. That's key. Okay. We started between centers, and then we used a forstner bit and a drill to drill it. Then we cleaned that up and we put a finish on the piece. We took the piece that we started with, that we cut it off of, and made a jam block out of it. We took that jam block, turned it around, using that jam block to finish up the bottom and everything else. Then we cut the lid, put it on with double stick tape, and the button, put it on with double stick tape. We cut those in, and they can be different colored woods. I have fun with this. Then we made the cup, or the piece of the jam chuck, into the cup. And we have all this came out of a 3-inch 5x5 block of wood, and I still got 2 or 3 scraps left. And I think it looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and polish out the rest of it, because it's only got CA on it. And I'm going to take it over to the buffer and buff it up. And this will be a nice addition to the dinner table. And I can tell folks, you know what I did that? When I was out back making shavings. Yeah, that's what, and you can do it too. Have fun. If you make one, send me a photograph to my email address. Capt.eddie, this one right here. Don't send it to me by messenger or text or anything. In an email to this address, and I'll use it in my monthly updates of photographs. And really, I want to see what the best turners in the world are doing. You guys, gals, you turners. I do like this. I gotta go to the grocery and find the right size toothpicks. And I'll do that before I cut this off, because it's got to come down about another 1/4 inch. I got a little room, and it'll still center up nicely. See? I had.